What's up, Andrew? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your holiday down in somewhere that looks a lot more sunny and a lot warmer than it is in New York. So I just wanted to just quickly make a quick video about your program here. Like we talked about, it's basically 3 times a week, and we're kind of mixing up a little bit of high specificity work just to get you very comfortable with the movements that we went over in the last 3 sessions that we had, but also throwing in some bodybuilding work as well, especially to take advantage of what you're taking right now. Especially because, like, remember, there's only 2 ways of getting stronger. The first way is just creating a better neurological relationship between your mind and your muscles, but also another less appreciated aspect of things is just developing more muscle fiber. So the first 4 weeks will be very similar to your next 4 weeks, but then after we complete about 8 weeks or so, we'll probably get a little bit more variance and a little bit more variety in the movements that we're doing. But for right now, I just want you to get very comfortable with like the movements that we went over in the last 3 sessions that we did. So if you open up this video next to like your program, I'm just going to walk you through it for at least the first week and just some general thoughts to kind of think about on your journey throughout this program. So to start off with, here's a mess. So to start off with, first and foremost, like your day one is comp squat, bench press, deadlift. So very, very straightforward, focusing on the big three. This is considered your volume day. So you're going to be doing higher reps as time goes on, but for right now, we're going to be focusing on just developing a linear progression. So what we're absolutely expecting here is just simply making sure that you get into a progression week to week. So day one, week one should be less than day one, week two, and day one, week two should be less than day one, week three. You should be beating each week at least by 5 pounds, ideally. So the most important thing for you to do right now is just to simply get on the board, right? So work up to a top set at 5 at 7. And what this means is that you're basically working up to 5 reps where you feel like you could do 10 reps with. So the RPE system is basically 1 through 10. If I give you a 5 RPE, that means that you're working up to a set of 5 reps, for example, that you feel like you can do another 5 reps more on top of what you already did. A 6 RPE, for example, is feeling like you have 4 reps left in the tank. A 7 RPE is 3 reps left in the tank. So you can start to see like how subjective this does get. I do want you to start thinking about RPEs because this will be very, very helpful down the line. However, right now, all your only job is to pick a weight where you confidently can say you have 3 reps left in the tank. It's okay to undershoot, but it is not okay to overshoot. So if you hit a 5 rep situation and you really feel like you have about like 3 reps left in the tank or something like that, or 2 reps left in the tank or 1, then that means that we probably overshot, and I would like you to discount that weight by at least 5 to 10%. This rings true on both the squat and on the bench. On deadlift, however, you're working up to a 5 rep situation where you have only 2 reps left in the tank. Deadlift should be able to beat the squat. This is just a rule of thumb. This is not necessarily something that you should fully subscribe to, but just so you know, you should be able to beat your deadlift at least by 5 to 10 pounds from what you squatted for 5 at 7. Scrolling on down to day 2, this is the same exact movement, except that you're basically tempoing your movements. So from here, you're doing 5 at 6, 5 at 7, 5 at 8 with a forced tempo. So you're going to do 5 seconds on the way down, 1 second pause when you hit well below parallel, and then 5 seconds on the way up. So just keep in mind that you are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause for 1 second, below parallel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the way up. This is true for both squat and for bench. Although bench, there is no tempo on the way up. There is only simply a tempo on the way down and a slight pause off the chest. Afterwards, you're basically doing dumbbell overhead presses. These are for high reps. This is more so for just some quick bodybuilding work after you're done with bench press. You're basically going to have dumbbells in a seated position. You're going to come down to roughly around ear height, and you're going to drive straight overhead and then come right back on down. Right overhead, you come right back down. Just make sure that you film yourself. Make sure that you're locking out every single rep. Day 3, your last and final day, is known as your intensity day. This is how you basically express how much stronger you become. So from here, you're doing 3 sets of 4, increasing in weight, RPE 6, RPE 7, RPE 8. So you're going to work up to a situation where you feel like you have 2 reps left in the tank. Another way of looking at this is that you should be able to beat your top set by at least 5 pounds of what you did last on the first day of the week. So what you did for 5 at 7, this should be at least 5 pounds heavier for 4 reps, which is doable, especially if you adhere to those RPEs. Row of choice, you're basically doing like any kind of cable row, single arm row, barbell row, whatever the case is. You're doing it for 40 reps. Try to stay within the 1 to 2 minute rest period for bodybuilding movements. So for overhead press, row of choice, and curls and triceps, you're trying to rest about 60 to 90 seconds or so. This is more so just to get the muscle exhausted rather than firing maximally. Finally, you have deadlifts. The 4 at 8 should be 4 reps at an 8 RPE. That should be 5 pounds heavier than day 1 when you did your deadlifts prior. So once you do your first week, everything becomes a lot easier. You're basically trying to beat your previous week of the same day. So for example, day 1, week 1, it should be less than day 1, week 2. So day 1, week 2, you should be able to beat all movements by at least 5 pounds. Generally speaking, we are expecting like a 5-pound increase on comp squat and on bench. And generally, we can take a 10 to 15-pound jump on deadlift. Since we're still trying to learn the movement, I would try your best to really focus on making sure that the weights are relatively low in progressions. Because consider this. Over the span of 4 weeks, you will have added about 20 pounds to your lifts. So just keep in mind that this progression over the long period of time is for sure unsustainable, but also number 2, something that you can sustain for a really long period of time, especially given your experience level. So I would encourage you that you film all your sets. I would encourage you that you film your sets primarily from the profile view, or at least a 45-degree angle. And I would also encourage you to come in whenever you want it, or whenever we decide on it, in terms of getting a tune-up in person or whatever the case is. You can get a drop-in for 25 or get a 10-pack for 185. And this is a really good way for you to kind of like come in and get tune-ups if necessary. But I'm confident we can do a lot of stuff in a remote fashion as well. Now, with that being said, I'm also going to send over a check-in template your way and stuff like that. And obviously, feel free to send me any questions or concerns that you have. We want to make sure that you have all of the questions and concerns out of the way before you start this program. So do not start it until you are 100% confident about what you're going to be doing. Cool? Well, Andrew, looking forward to continuing our work together, and I'll talk to you soon, man. Later.